And so Unlocking was birthed off me saying, okay, y'all want to be lazy? All right, so here's all the things that are happening in Richmond. Never any intent to really make it a full-fledged business to what you see now. Wow. It was only supposed to be Instagram. So if you ever have bored out of your mind and want to scroll back 6 years, it's using the repost app. That's pretty much the first year.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that Unlocking RVA started out as basically just an Instagram account showing you and your friends doing dope shit?
Not showing my friends. Well, technically it was us. They just didn't know it was us. So for the first year, I did not share with anyone that I was Unlocking RVA and Unlocking RVA was me. And that was intentional.
Yeah, that is so wild because 6 years later, you're known for Unlocking RVA.
But that was intentional. I wanted people to embrace the platform and like the platform because of they liked it and not because it was faves.
Welcome back to the Ground Up Podcast. I'm your host, Keisha Rock, and this is the podcast that brings you entrepreneur stories to help you get started and keep going. Today, we're bringing you Dr. Faith Wilkerson. She holds a doctorate in educational leadership and is the program director for the Minority Education Center at VCU. Along with being well-educated, she's well-known for her entrepreneur venture, Unlocking RVA, bringing Richmond the most creative and unforgettable events to date. Welcome, Faith.
Yeah, I'm still in that last line. Did you get that from my website? Did I write that in the middle of my...
I may have looked at your bio.
Because I feel like I wrote that in like a 2 a.m. website edit.
Would it be a good interviewer if I didn't look at your bio?
If not, though, but that's not in my bio. So if you didn't steal that from my website, I'm putting it on there. But it's only something I would have wrote at 3 a.m., like really prolific, like unforgettable events.
I'm excited to have you here.
Yes.
You are one of those Richmond RVA movers and shakers that I not only admire for your business standpoint, but I follow your personal page. Look, y'all, I'm about to plug her personal page. You are fucking hilarious.
So I've been told.
Yes, you are funny. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I admire her, what she's doing in Richmond, what you're doing just with your life, really going after what you want and creating your own empire. But also just really like your personality. So I'm excited to chat with you. Give us a little background. Where are you from?
Yeah, so I'm originally born and raised in Queens, New York City.
Okay, did not know that.
I know a lot of people don't. A lot of people think that I'm born and raised in Richmond.
Yeah, you rep Richmond hard.
Because I do, but I'm sort of a military brat, so it's this has been the longest place that I've lived. So at this point now I've been here 21 years.
Okay, so 2 decades.
So 2 decades, but you know how the gimmick goes though, right? You ask somebody where they're from, and then if I were to say Richmond, you'd be like, oh, what high school you went to? Oh. Now I was told I could have went to John Marshall or Matoaka. That's what I was told.
Y'all, the whole interview prior to this, her and Aaron just been connected. Y'all, her and Aaron just been connected. I feel left out, y'all. Y'all don't even know yet.
Like
and look, now Aaron went to John Marshall. Y'all knew I grew up in Chesterfield, so I ain't go to the same school.
They were saying Matoaka because they was like, you give a little bit. I'm like, I mean, maybe.
Ooh, Matoaka, I can see that.
See the vibe. So I did a poll one day on Instagram. I'll try to send it to you so you can see where they was like telling me where I probably could have went to school. Because I was gonna lie.
I don't see John Marshall. I don't know who you telling you that.
Who's
telling you that? Your friend telling you that?
No, I just probably made up John Marshall because I thought it was a cool school that I think I would have been proud to rep. And I do have a really good friend who's like the head cheerleader.
Okay, so we've established she's not from Richmond, but she got some Richmond in her. That's for sure.
I do. And we were talking offline before we started that, my grandparents, my dad's parents actually retired to Richmond in like 95. And one day I just thought like some coming to America or something. They spun the globe and decided to pick Richmond as their retirement location. But my grandfather's from Amelia. No idea, no clue. Amelia County. So I'm really a country girl.
Yeah, you are. You got a little bit of me. I'm like that too.
Yeah, a little country. But yeah, I mean, the story goes, he just was kind of coming back from New York every year to work in the tobacco fields. God bless his heart. And when he turned 18, he was like, I'm done with this life, and never left Harlem. So I'm just thinking that we're
New York.
Yeah, that's what we are.
And it's Amelia, y'all.
It's Amelia, like for my dad's son. My grandmother is definitely Long Island through and through. But yeah, so one day he asked to take me to a funeral, and I'm like, Wilkerson, wait, people looking like me? It was super shocking. And I was like, this is like so poetic a little bit. Yeah. And super dope. So it's been awesome. So now people, and again, because I moved around so much, I never experienced people saying, hey, cousin, like, I don't know you. But I was like, no, my grandmother is yours. I'm like,
no, we actually cousins.
Yeah, we actually, that's dope. And they know who I am because, again, of what I do. And just eventually it's always that one person that goes, you're not your cousin, right? And I'm like,
that's wild. Yeah. So originally from New York, moved here because of the military, moved to Virginia because of the military, but then ended up, going to VCU, living in Richmond, then finding out your family's from Amelia County. So you got some Southern in you.
Yeah,
I call it Southern. I got family from Hanover, and I consider that to be like, so I feel you.
Yeah. No light central. You need to put your hand out. Can't see what's happening in front of you.
All right. So Faith of Unlocking RVA.
Yes.
Also, are you still an adjunct professor at U of R? Also an adjunct professor at U of R.
Yeah.
Also a director at VCU. I mean, the hats. I mean, I'm not even done, y'all. Also does consulting. Also is a wedding officiant. Like,
I forget that I'm a wedding officiant.
You know, like,
Sometimes.
where did that entrepreneurship? Well, not only that, but like you're well educated, like I opened up with. But where did you decide I want to do something on my own for myself, or make my own business? How did that happen?
It's weird. I don't know if I decided. I don't know if I stood up one day and was like, "This is it." Unlocking came about because my group of friends and I, which again, to her point about if you follow my personal page on Instagram, you know that it's including myself, 7 of us, and we rock pretty hard. We like to do a lot of different things, not only around the city, but we travel a lot. And so a lot of people
Y'all do travel a lot.
We do. Shout out to us, okay? We definitely travel
shout out to
a lot. And so, but realizing people were always wondering, well, how do you find out about whatever insert activity was?
Okay.
And really it was a combination of, because we are a group of women that are not afraid to do different things. So we'll go to the opera, we'll go to sit in the park, and somehow we have the ability to make the most mundane things seem so freaking amazing.
Yeah.
And people just didn't understand how we were finding out about these things. And it was a combination of things. We're signed up for pretty much every listserv you can imagine, every newsletter. But more importantly, we were willing to try and really immerse ourselves in different types of things that were outside of our cultural norms. And so Unlocking was birthed off me saying, okay, y'all want to be lazy? All right, so here's all the things that are happening in Richmond. Never any intent to really make it a full-fledged business. So what you see now, it was only supposed to be Instagram. So if you ever have bored out of your mind and want to scroll back 6 years, it's using the repost app. That's pretty much the first year.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that Unlocking RVA started out as basically just an Instagram account showing you and your friends doing dope shit?
Not showing my friends. Well, technically it was us. They just didn't know it was us. So for the first year, I did not share with anyone that I was Unlocking RVA, and Unlocking RVA was me. And that was intentional.
That is so wild because 6 years later, you're known for Unlocking RVA.
But that was intentional. I wanted people to embrace the platform and like the platform because of they liked it and not because it was Faith's.
Okay.
And also if it sucked, right? I needed an exit plan, right? So I could say it wasn't me. But no, the first year was strictly, someone posted it, so if you were having an event, I would just repost it, and that was it.
Got you. So if other people were having events around Richmond, you were reposting it. Okay, I got you.
Or if I'm experiencing it, that I might take a picture and say, today we went to the Ballet of Virginia. They're having 3 more.
So did that start to take off? Were you, gaining like a following?
And so that's where the natural progression kind of happened, because it was inevitable that what it is today was going to happen. I just didn't look at it in that way. So I'm an event planner by trade. So although I work at VCU and I've worked in higher education for over 15 years, I've always done the event side. So I've worked in what we call student affairs, which is your homecomings.
You do the fun stuff.
Yeah, the student all the things that keep you in school, right?
Yeah.
It's what I did. Large homecomings, the step shows, all those things I did. And so eventually when I would do our travels or just seeing people do certain events, like, I could do that better. Or I could do it with my twist, right?
Okay.
And so
you put your touch on it.
Put my touch on it. And so essentially that became, okay, well, let me be more intentional when it comes to how I post what I'm posting. And now let me try doing small events to kind of see what my demo is, because I really don't know.
So let's take me back to, I'm assuming it didn't happen year 1, maybe year 2. Take me back to your first Unlocking RVA event where you actually monetized off of this now.
Oh yeah, it definitely wasn't year 1. But again, all intentional, right? Because it wasn't meant to be a business. So year 1, I did several events. I didn't charge for any of them. The goal was, my goal for every event was everything is free. If I get everything free, you get to experience it for free. So I did a lot of pop-up events where essentially in the space was different things that you can access. So the space itself was bookable. Any vendor in there, you can book them or purchase their items or services. So the very first mixer that I did was, shout out to Mama J's catering space, which is now closed. But we had Yelp. That was the first year Yelp RVA. Yelp Richmond was here. We had a...
So this is your first event.
This is my very first event. I'm gonna
get to the monetized part.
RVA. Well, it was my event, but I invited Yelp in because at that time they were new to the market, and so they were attempting to promote themselves.
Right.
Now they won't work with me, but not shady, but because again, they align. So again, it's weird to me that they won't, but I also understand it. But Yelp was in there. We had a lovely young lady named Molly who came and does ceramics. And so she was right on theme. She had Beyonce, Jay-Z, all kind of stuff she was selling. And then again, we were in the Mama J's catering space, and we had Mama J's catering. And then we had a DJ. And so everything in that space is able. So the monetization for me was the fact that you're now experiencing something you didn't know. You didn't know about this catering space was here. You didn't know about Molly. You didn't know that Yelp was an option here now in Richmond. So the first event that I started getting money for was probably the Female Entrepreneur.
Female Entrepreneur event?
Yes.
Wow, that sounds like a beautiful event.
It was an amazing event.
What year was this? Was this year 2?
This would have been year 2, so 16, so 2017 for sure. And again, that event was geared towards, because I was seeing that my demographic was mainly women, and it still is, which I try to tell people, like, if you're trying to meet the woman in your dreams, my events are the way to go, right? You can meet all the top line ladies at an Unlocking RVA event. And so that event was so simple. It's literally a panel of 3 to 4 women talking about their entrepreneur journey, and you as a person that either is already an entrepreneur or aspiring to be one, we're able to ask questions, engage.
I see a future The Ground Up podcast collaboration,
yeah,
y'all.
It's definitely something we wanted to bring back. I tried to be inclusive and add men, and I hate to say it, I think that's when it kind of pivoted a little bit and the numbers kind of drifted. I think the women enjoyed being in a room.
We like having something for ourselves.
Yeah, which men were totally invited to. I just, I wanted them to also see themselves on the panel, but then COVID hit. And so
what did that feel like when you had this first event so you sold tickets for this event? Were you nervous? Did you kind of already know it's going to be a success, or was there any hesitation?
There's always nerves. I still have nerves.
You still have nerves?
Because you never know. I mean, let's be honest. Like, I have a friend who completely hates the fact that I'm so humble as I am, which I'm like, how are you getting mad because I'm humble? But I don't brag a lot because it can be taken away from you at any moment, right? So it takes one podcast. It takes.
Oh, stop!
No, I'm just saying it takes one podcast for you to say something out of pocket, and people are like, oh, canceled. Or
people
just
gonna love you even more after this podcast.
Well, I will take that and I will receive that, but you never know what can happen, right? And so there's always fear, but absolutely. So I was nervous just because, like, okay, the money part it's never been an issue for me. And I think that's why Unlocking RVA has been able to stay so consistent, because I don't lead with the profit. I make sure that I break even. If I make money, woohoo, but that's not the goal. The goal is to make sure everyone's having a good time and the event looks good and runs smoothly. That's top priority for me. So for me, I was like, okay, I know I have amazing panel of women that are going to talk their truth. I know them personally, so I know they're not going to come up here and embarrass themselves.
So you vetted them well.
But I don't want to also not waste their time. So my fear comes from wasting other people's time.
I understand that.
But it went well. I mean, again, I think.
Where'd you have it at?
Great question. I knew that was coming. Actually, it was back in the Mama J's catering space, actually.
Wow. Okay, so you made a connection?
Yeah. I did, well, yeah. So we did that in there.
I feel like there's a story behind that, but we won't go there.
No, it's because you were mentioning all my jobs. So I'm Puerto Rican and Black, but you can add an extra Jamaican piece in there. I'm Jamaican, so I also at times am the catering sides bartender. So that's why I was in that space so much, because
you had a relationship
that
with
was
the
part of the job. Yeah, I was the bartender. I worked in the catering space when we had special events. I was the bartender in the catering space.
I understand,
which is why I was in there so much. So that was the first one. Then we started skipping around. So I did some in, oh my gosh, what is the old firehouse that is now an event space?
Well, I don't want to like run over what you just said.
You're fine.
You used your resources.
Yeah.
So you were working there and you had relationships there and used your resources. And I like to highlight things like that, because our listeners are in places where they're still building, and you need to use your resources around you.
Using and building resources are the number one reason why I'm where I am today. It's so easy to be a bitch. It's so easy to be an asshole, but it takes more effort to try to be diplomatic. It takes way more, style to walk away with things with grace, or have conversations with people that are harder to preserve. Sometimes I'm not saying you can't set it off. What I'm saying is that figure out if it's worth it. The beauty about Faith and about me is that I'm very aware that you never know what the person sitting next to you or across from you can offer you tomorrow, the next week. So I always just try to lead with kindness, and you might have pissed me off, but you won't never know. You'll never know. Either I'm gonna get you back in the future because I'm also a Scorpio, or we won't operate in the same space. But yeah, those resources have been, something that have been very valuable to me, and I hold them very dear. So whenever anyone's like, well, I wonder how this 21 years right here. Like, I've been working in meeting people and doing things in the city for a very long time, but because my bucket was different. So again, the first 10 years were in VCU. That was my bubble of doing events. So if you didn't go to VCU, or you weren't tuned in and plugged in, you didn't know that what I was doing. You just think I woke up today and was like, I want to do a brunch in Kanawha.
I mean, so it sounds like you gained so much experience putting on events while you're in a position at VCU, and basically you just took that and like, all right, now I'm going to give that to the city.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I think it's a fair assessment. A lot of people I'm working with in the city, I mean, folks that I've been working with for years when I was at VCU, all, you know, the sound companies, the RMCs, the staging, the vendors,
Faith
the
uses
food
her
trucks.
connections, y'all.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm paying them too. Even though I have connections, I'm giving you your worth because I know what it feels like to not be given your worth. So regardless if we have a hookup or not, give me your rate. Now, if I can't pay it, we might talk about it. But I won't never try to shortchange you. And if I can't give you everything today, I'm going to figure out a way to give it to you tomorrow. And again, that's...
So you have this successful female entrepreneur event.
Yeah.
Did that get the ball rolling? Was there a gap in between there? Like, what did you think after that? Did you say, all right, I'm going to the next thing? Or was it like... What am I going to do next? Yeah, no, for me, it's all about, I love to groom and foster whatever it is that gets created at that moment. So for me, I didn't want to add too much at one time. I wanted to add something and foster it, make it great. So we probably went a year with just doing those female entrepreneur events, and then also just doing these pop-up socials where, again, I was in various spaces. So we might do a brewery. We might go to another catering space. It's now a selfie museum, but it used to be, what was it, the one on Broad? The gallery. Was it just called Gallery? I think it was called Gallery. Yeah. I remember a gallery called Gallery. Yeah. So anyways, but just doing different spaces people didn't know about and just plugging in events. So in there we had like Sarah's Vodka when they first came on board. Marcus Gold was DJing. We had a local brewery that was in there. We had I feel like you were doing pop-ups before they were pop-ups. I mean, I'm sure they was pop-ups. You know what I say to people? But calling it that though is more trendy now. And I mean, it is trendy, but I always tell people, if we don't invent anything. Well, that's true. Okay? We recreate it and make it our own. Just like I tell people, I didn't invent brunch, so if you want to do brunch, go do brunch. You ain't going to do it like me. I'm not going to do it like you. If you want to go do us on the headphone, we're never going to be the same, and that's not shade, right? So all those events. And that's actually the key takeaway. Like you said, I loved it, so I wrote it down. You said to not be afraid to do something because it already exists. Yeah. So many people are afraid to take action on their idea because they see somebody else doing it at a different level. Some people never act on their idea because they can't. They think they can't do it at the level that they think they have to do it at, right? You know, and I feel like that holds back so many creatives. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's one of those things that sometimes it is blatant copying, so you do have to be careful with what it is, but you always have to make sure you put your spin, your flair on it, and do it with confidence and be unapologetic in the truth that, this is what I'm doing. I want to try it. It's fun, but I want to do it my way, and that's okay. And so I never try to say I invent anything. There's nothing that I'm doing underneath Unlocking's umbrella that, hasn't been done before in some shape, form, or fashion. It's just gonna, like you said earlier, just kind of be unique to me and how Faith likes to see things through her lens. Yeah. So other factors that you've said has led to your success: consistency, creativity, never being afraid to take a risk. I think consistency, I mean, that has to be one of the number one characteristics of successful people. You know, is that something that you feel like that was something that was groomed in you, or something that you have to work at? A little bit of both. I think I learned fairly early on, if you're not consistent, people will forget about you. And that has to do in business and in personal, right? If you have friendships where you're not being consistent, if you're not consistent with your family, all those things can fall apart if you're not staying on top of it. And so for me, I try to take breaks, but I'm always trying to make sure there's something being put out, some kind of content, something that keeps things relevant. But again, consistency also allows the expectation to remain balanced. So no matter what, your personality, who you are stands on its own, even when you're not in the room. So if people are talking about you, that level of consistency is going to get brought up, and people know they can work with you before they've even met with you. So I've gotten so many deals, and I haven't met the person. Oh, we want you to do blank. Okay, don't you want to talk first? No, we good because so-and-so said, so I trust them, and so we want to use you. Well, that goes into work ethic too. So do you feel like you're living your dream? Yes, and I guess I got hesitant because I feel like there's so much more that I want to do, so much more that I see for myself. It's just a matter of, will I have the time, right? And by time, it's just age. Like, eventually I'm tired, I'm getting tired. Because it is hard to find anyone sometimes to pass your dream and your legacies on, right? Because especially when it's something so special.
to you and so personal to you, to find someone that's going to want to take that ball and kind of run it to the next level, is something that I get sad about sometimes, because I have such big dreams. And I'm like, oh, if I could only find somebody that wants to take it and nurture it, and really, so that I can come over here and then now I can, focus on whatever.
We talk about that all the time. Yeah. We can't do it on our own.
You can't.
And I think as you, who am I to say, but I think as you grow and you continue in your journey, you really do meet those people. They come because, what does it say? God, I'm really bad at quoting shit, but do it and they come, or you know what I mean? Like the people come that are there to support you. It just happens naturally. I think it's something organic that that creates. And you're not alone in Unlocking RVA. So tell me about that. What's the structure of it?
It's definitely a really amazing structure where I have people who are able to ebb and flow, and then I have my day ones that are rocking with me at every event. So the way Unlocking kind of goes, the everyday kind of stuff is me. Usually I'm the email checker. I'm doing phone calls. I have my hands on everything because that's just who I am. I'm very anal, and I want things a certain way. And then I have a wonderful, amazing team of, how many is there now? About 7 or 8 folks who are plugged in when it's time to work. So when we actually have events, they're manning my door. They're doing the headphones. They're taking money, making sure everything is set up correctly. But I'm learning again that I need to, you got to play to win. Is it? Yeah. So I just recently hired an event manager. Shout out Nicole.
Okay,
and
that's
so
big. That's
it is
huge.
big.
An event manager, because that's basically what you are doing.
Yeah, someone that can, I don't want to get up in the morning anymore. So that's Nicole's now job. She's going to be like, really?
So let me ask you this. Do you have to attend every event that you put on?
I do.
You do? Will you continue to attend every event that you put on?
I will. You will. But I might be late. Like I'm excited about.
It won't all be riding on your presence.
Yeah, it won't be. And I'm excited about saying, I'll be there around 11.
Oh, God, that's got to feel good. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, no, you good? All right, I'll be there in a little bit so I can just walk in. Or, again, the last end of this last season in 21, I might have got drunk a little bit more, and I might have just, looked at my staff and been like, hey.
You got me?
It's a wrap after this. Like, yo, don't ask me to count. Nothing. If y'all gonna steal, this will be the time. Cause I'm just saying, they not. I love them. They not gonna steal, but it's like, because I'm about to go over here in this corner and I don't know nothing. The event is halfway damn near done. I've had a great. So
you actually do go and enjoy.
I try to have fun. Yeah. So
yeah.
My friends do an amazing job of making sure.
That would be awful. The work that puts in. We went to a few events. Brunch on the Plaza? Brunch on the Plaza, yeah. But we went for the July 4th. That was the July 4th one. So, it was wild. It was a lot of people.
It is a lot of people.
But to put on such a big event and to not enjoy it yourself, why?
Well, because why? You saw all them people, and then we had dark time hours for y'all, which is...
well, we had the baby with us, so we...
Oh, okay, yeah. Which, dark time was we do nighttime events, but nighttime in the park in the middle of the city... I was a little nervous for us. Fireworks, I didn't know what was going to happen.
I know, but I'm saying it's worth still having a good time.
To me, I'm always, it's again.
But you be these legit. Okay, can we talk about Unlocking RVA and what it is? Because these events are legit. Yeah. There was Rich. was it Richmond? I don't know if it was Richmond PD, but you had security there.
Oh yeah, we always have RMC. Yeah, because again, that safety is important, and we try to make sure that we don't make it seem like we are targeting anyone if you're gonna do something. No. But it's a matter of I gotta secure the perimeter. Really, RMC there is to secure my money. I ain't even gonna hold you. That's why RMC is really there. If I could trust everybody would use the front gate and pay, I wouldn't need RMC, because that's not the vibe, and that's not what Unlocking RVA is about. The vibe is family friendly. The vibe is girlfriends catch up.
Yeah, I brought my kids.
Yeah, the brunch in particular is definitely backyard cookout meets the family reunion.
Yes.
We're coming to have a good time. We're coming to eat, drink, listen to some good music, and then go home and go to work the next day.
Yes.
And so I'm not trying to push any kind of narrative where you even feel like you're even in a situation where something could go wrong.
Absolutely.
But I, as an event manager and planner, I'm always like, it look like something can happen. Let me walk over here. Hey, y'all all right?
Let me check that out.
Let me check that out. So that's why I tend to stay on high alert. But there are a couple times where I'm just like, we good. Hey, y'all, 13.9. Like, we... 13.9, okay?
Y'all gotta check out the sangria. I'm telling y'all. On that note, let's talk about some highlights. I want to know, what is your favorite event that you put on? Do you have a favorite?
I don't have a favorite because each of them give me a little bit something different.
I hate when people don't have favorites.
I know I don't have
Give
a
me
favorite.
A favorite
I know I don't have a favorite just because like
what's one that you're like you have to get more excited about something.
You're right. Okay, you know what? I'll say the silent headphone party. Here's why I say the silent headphone party.
Good.
I say it because now that we I've started. So in November I started moving out of the market just to kind of do some pop-ups in different places, but also have begun getting booked for random places. So we've done stuff. We have a wedding like it's coming up in October because a person booked a space that has quiet hours. So once their DJ gets done, they can still party, but they can't have amplified sound. So they're gonna book the headphones.
Dope.
So I'm excited about that. Yeah. We've done stuff for like teenagers and youth, but more importantly, it's like one of those events where people walk up and don't really understand it and judge the hell out of it. Oh, you mean you're just gonna put on a headset? Like that ain't nothing. Okay, put on the headset.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. Now I'm gonna go. I haven't been to one.
So when you put on the headset, I explain it to people. It's like when you're at home, like or if you're like walking or exercising and you put them headphones in and you got your music, the bass all the way up. It's knocking. You like, oh, this is my, and then you just don't even realize you're dancing and you're by yourself.
Yeah.
Or again, you're yelling to the top of your lungs because your audio is so hot you don't know you're yelling.
Right.
But I love it because again, it allowed us to. Because of the what's the word, the not the radar, that's super excessive, but because of the distance that the headphones are able to travel and still get the signal. Being in the market, they can take those headphones and go in any of those restaurants that are in the 17th Street Marketplace. So that was beautiful to see because again, these were restaurants that I don't want to like not. I mean, they were struggling, right, because of COVID.
Yeah.
And so I'm bringing you guaranteed once a month, 250 people, if not more, in this space with these headphones in, eating your food, giving you money, helping you a little bit just for my one little time. So it's just awesome to see people and just people get excited. And so we have two DJs. You can flip between the two channels and you just can kind of get whatever vibe you want.
I might get out there and act a fool, y'all.
But people do though. And I will say this, you know what, and you know what, I'm gonna give you a little exclusive, okay? Because what people do not know is that for this season for Silent Headphone, we have 8 total dates. Of those 8, 4 of them will also include the opportunity for you to roller skate with your headphones.
Oh, shut up, Faith.
So
you gonna have people out there wilding.
So Parks and Recs, and they, usually do the ice skating ring at 17th Street. They couldn't do that because of the renovation, so they decided to buy roller skates, and that's what they did during Christmas. But they were like, "Well, what the hell are we gonna do with the skates for the rest of the year?" And they were like, "Faith, can we do them with just on the headphone?" I said, let's do it. I don't see the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I do, but it's going to be underneath y'all's, whatever they sign.
Oh, yes,
y'all can't have my insurance money.
Yeah.
Y'all can't have my insurance. They can take yours, okay?
Right.
They can have your liability.
There's a new business in town.
Golden Touch Mobile Detailing.
If you're in the Richmond, Virginia area and tired of riding dirty,
or you appreciate a deep clean,
book an appointment with Golden Touch Mobile Detailing. It's not your average car wash. Full interior and exterior cleaning, and Golden Touch Mobile Detailing comes to you.
It's the attention to detail to make you a returning customer.
Follow the Instagram at Golden Touch RVA and book your appointment.
I guarantee you'll be riding clean.
So that's on their liability. So the roller skates, so that's your little exclusive.
Yeah.
That roller skates will be included in.
That's dope. I love that.
That's people. So I don't know.
Sounds dangerous for me.
Absolutely, for me too. I don't roller skate.
But there's gonna be a lot of people they're gonna be psyched about that. Aaron included. Aaron is hype about that.
So I think that's my favorite event because it's so versatile. It can go anywhere, be done anywhere.
Yeah.
It looks amazing at night. I will say, when we did Cabana for Thanksgiving, people were willing to be out. I promise you, it was like 15 degrees on that balcony. But they were out on that rooftop and they were having the time of sitting on couches. We had people get bottle service. Like, we're getting bottle service at a
when you're at these events and you see people like genuinely with their people enjoying themselves, like doesn't that feel like I've done this?
It does, because I think you should too, what it feels like when you want to go out and party but you don't want to be in the club setting.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? And so when I knew I made it, in fact, that same November when there was a pregnant woman there, and I said, I made it.
Oh yeah.
I said, because you in the club, shorty, and you were probably like 7 months. And I was so proud. I said,
nowhere when I was pregnant.
Made it. Okay, she had her headphones on. She felt safe though because she knew it wasn't going to be a lot of that rah. Right. But people were having a good time. She had plenty of space to go wherever she had to go with her headphones and still be locked in. And so
But was she one of those girls that probably would have been in the club?
No, I can tell she had a 401k.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, she definitely had a 401k.
What is going on?
Mm-hmm.
So it was either before I asked you or right after I asked you. I saw on your Instagram story, you were posting basically like what it would be like if you didn't have to do none of this shit. Like, what if you could just be a content creator, go live, make money, do, you know, just go that whole route of like be Simone route. And I was like, that is so fucking relatable. You know, but we do know creatives, it's work. It's not that it's not work, but it's a different type of work.
Girl. Like, you understand? Like, even if like podcast, like even doing this, like if you were able to have enough money or liquid money to just walk in and sit down. Like, oh, y'all said everything. Okay, cool. What's up? You good? All right. And then
Faith, I could do this all day. I love podcasting. Okay. I mean, and one day, you know, absolutely. I'm hopeful, but I mean, shit, I gotta make a big break.
You do, and that's the thing. I just, you know, I think hierarchy, right? I'm gonna go into general gender roles. I would prefer to be kept. I want someone to come keep me because I feel like my daddy wants that for me, for my life. But I'm too. Again, there's too much happening in my life for me to be kept.
You are way too powerful to just be kept.
I know, but it sounds great.
It does sound great
because really, ideally,
maybe the option. You know,
okay, what is it? Let's talk through it.
Well, I'm saying, the option, like just the option of. The option of doing or not doing, you know?
That is, I think that is it. Like,
because, you know, you probably don't feel like you have an option. You work so hard. You probably don't have to do everything you're doing. You're a high achiever. You might be an overachiever.
You're right. You're right.
But to have the option to, like, leisurely, I wonder if you would even do what you're doing if you had the option, though, you know? Like, if you didn't...
Well, I would, because I would pay somebody to do it. I'm like, hey, you know what I came up, brunch, do this. All right, cool. And I'll just throw money at it. That's what I want to just throw money at it.
True. And
then I'm like,
we might do more.
I got to call you like, Keisha, girl, I went to Paris real quick. The jet's running late.
Can we do this podcast through Zoom?
Hey, yeah, I'm going to be on the jet. I got Wi-Fi to work. You know, I want to be.
No, but what were you thinking really when you were sharing that?
Yeah, I think that some days I just get tired, right? And it's because it's not just unlocking this in life in general. There's just some days I just want to wake up. And I've had a 2-month break. This is the first, I guess I could say, year that I've literally intentionally not planned any events. So in January and February, it was supposed to be November through February, but again, we snuck those 2 silent headphones in. But January and February, we've had no unlocking events. And that's intentional so that I can really, again, as you mentioned, I am a teacher, so professor, so to focus on my students at University of Richmond, but also work at VCU and kind of make sure all those ducks are still in a row. And then Faith can just sleep. Like, I've had every weekend free in the month of February.
Well, and I also feel like you chose really good months to do that. Yeah. Because, like, I'm not looking for you to give me events right now. You know what I mean?
Thank you for that feedback.
Well, no, but seriously, like, look, in the wintertime, we want to be inside the house drinking 13.9% sangria.
Yeah.
You know? So when it starts to warm up,
I know, y'all want to be back outside.
We want to come outside.
Yeah. So that's it. Just a feeling of just sometimes you just, again, that these devices, we look at things, we're scrolling all day. You mentioned B. Simone again. Definitely, I know that girl work hard.
Yeah.
But some days, like, again, when you tell me that you charging $10 for your close
to be in your friends group.
What?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like,
and she's probably got, and I'm probably underestimating, she's probably got thousands.
Like, when you tell me your OnlyFans is just you, like, showing your feet, I'm like, I can do that. Like, but you know, I got goals, right? And I always tell people, like, I wish I was, like, to your point of me being an overachiever. Not that there's anything wrong with just being regular. Like, I don't feel like I'm regular.
No, you're not.
And that's not shade to anyone, but I wish sometimes I could just.
I think being regular, I mean, nobody wants to be regular.
Right, but some people are
that's
okay
like my
with
biggest
that.
fear.
But some people can be okay with just going to that 9 to 5.
Yes, they can.
You have the money that you need to pay your bills. You may take a trip or two a year.
That's true.
You may eat out on Thursdays.
That sounds like a nice life.
And it's just no stress, right? But that's not enough for me.
I know, I understand. I understand. But something don't. But I understand that struggle so much. But like I said, my biggest fear is being regular.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's all calm and nice and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, what's that feeling like when you created something from the ground up?
Yeah. Come on.
You know,
come on.
I mean, that's where the magic happens in life.
No, absolutely. It absolutely is. And that's what makes me keep going and makes me just shut up. But, you know, I appreciate Instagram and the stories for allowing me to share my random stuff. And people to respond, because everyone was like, I know that's right.
I'm going to save it for the podcast.
Yeah, I know that's right. But yeah, I called my dad and was like, Dad, like, is this a life you wanted for me? Like, because I'm his only child. So I'm like, oh, are you sure? Like, because there's still time.
Your dad want to play.
Yeah, like, there's time. Like, I'll still accept direct advice. You can still give me child support. Like, I'll take it. I'm still a child. You can support me. You know what I'm saying? He laughed and I think he hung up, but it's cool.
Well, you might have already answered this, but what do you feel like has been the most challenging thing with entrepreneurship?
I think the most challenging thing is the creativity part, is staying ahead of everything else, right? Okay. Because again, we live in a world where everyone's ready to copy. Everyone's ready to do what you did and maybe do it better.
Yeah.
So you always have to like stay on your toes and make sure you're adding value and being creative with something. That's why I don't generally like to make a change on the events. Like in terms of adding more, I like to take an event, focus on it, and make it the best possible that it can. So if for some reason someone comes along, maybe does it better, I know that I did everything I could with that event that happened. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll pause. Hey, sorry, I don't want you to feel like you got tiptoe. You can do you. How you doing? You come. I know. Yeah, we booked a little bit later.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Where we at time wise? I mean, because I could talk to you all day. But
Well, my broadcaster said y'all been doing this for 34 minutes, but you know.
all right, I'm gonna start.
Okay.
You know, we end with a little game, so I'm gonna ask you some wrap up questions. Then we're gonna end with the game.
This made me think about, I don't know, the one I watch Drink Champs, and it sounds like Quick Time with Slime. That's what it sounds like. Quick Time with Slime. That's what it sounds like.
I
You're
have
about to
no
do.
idea what you're talking about, but Erin knows.
This is my spirit
I have
animal.
no idea what she's talking about. All right, so y'all are cracking me.
Slime friend.
All right, right. So
Quick Time with Slime. Let's go. I'm ready.
success looks different for everybody.
Yeah.
How do you measure your success?
By how the people that are present in the space are reacting. So it's two things. I visually watch you enjoy yourself at that moment, and again, through the power of the internet and social media, how you then relive and talk about your experiences afterwards. So a lot of times we'll post recap videos, and so through that moment, I can see when people are writing about, oh, we had such a good time, or again, if you're taking video and then you're putting it and tagging us, those two things for me really help me gauge that I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
For real, all it takes is one person. Again, you telling me that you just want to sit in the house in the wintertime, that's all I need. One person to validate my thoughts on the inside, and I'm good. Because I tell people Unlocking RVA is really Faith Wilkerson as well. So I don't do events. If you want to be out 2 o'clock in the morning, my platform, my business, not for you. We done by 11. I'm tired.
I love it.
Okay, and
I
so
love it. It's so
I just
for
need
me.
one person to
It's so
affirm.
many people
Yeah.
like us, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
Night night.
Okay. What do you think it is about yourself, about you, that's helped you in entrepreneurship?
I think humility, remaining humble, but also knowing that the no's are gonna come.
That's good.
People are gonna tell you no.
Yeah.
It's gonna suck.
Yeah.
But for every no, there's gonna be another yes, and you just keep at it, and you just have to know that this is not the time right now. I think that's tough for us to hear a lot of times, because we see something, we see this vision, we know it's gonna be amazing, but it's not the time just yet. People don't know this. I've been doing brunches for 3 years. They did not look like how they look now. They started in small restaurants. We had maybe 50 people per month. And we were doing good. Like, I was having live bands every single month.
But the
in
show
these
out wasn't
brunches.
what it is today.
But the show out was not. People were not coming. And so it's like, okay, I know what I have is good. I know there's potential, but it's not right now. So we took a break. Then the opportunity came to do something in Kanawha, and here we are.
But what made you keep going?
I think because, again, I know the product is good. I know those 50 people, they had fun, they had a ball, and I'm like, okay, I just need to figure out what it is, what's different, and again, it's because the brunches, despite having people like John Bibbs, people like Radio B, people like Legacy Band performing for you, like, I can touch you. It was the fact that I can go to any restaurant, because at those 3 years, and even now, a lot of restaurants are still doing brunch on Sundays. That's not anything. But by putting you outside, putting you literally in the middle, it was the atmosphere. But again, I didn't know that until I finally was like, this is it. Y'all just wanted something different. I wasn't giving you, I thought it was giving you different. I was giving you a little bit of different, but not the kind of different that my demographic really wanted, which is it's like the control. My demographic likes to have control of their experience just as much as like planning it for them. So while brunch, I give you an experience, you can also create your own, because you can bring your own food, you can bring your own drinks, people have tents.
And so if anybody out there is getting ready, because this airs, March, and when will you start doing brunch on the plaza again?
March 27th is our first brunch.
All right, well, there we
on the
go.
plaza.
And this airs March 21st.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
let me tell you guys, don't come out there being basic, because
No.
we did. Well, we didn't. We had a
Which
little.
is fine,
we had a
but you can
tent.
be basic,
But, I mean,
though.
because let me tell you, we had a really good time.
Yeah.
Basic and all. But I looked around me and I
Yes.
sawhat other people brought, and
yeah.
what they came prepared.
Yeah, but not everyone does it the first time. time.
Right.
It took people a while. So if you look at earlier, even shots or recap videos, there barely any tents until one day someone was like, "Can I bring a tent?" I was like, "You don't need to look at Rayvon. I know Rayvon will love you, but you ain't gotta listen to. You can hear him."
Yeah.
And then now it's called
You
Tent
can
City.
really make it like your own.
Whatever you
even
want.
more
We've had
experience.
people that have tents with food buffets inside of them, and
Girl, I saw it. Yes.
But I think that's what the difference was. I realized now that I have a group of people that follow this platform that like to create within my creation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything you would have asked yourself that I did not ask you?
This is the game?
No.
We playing the game?
Not yet.
Anything I would ask myself. Ooh, what would I ask myself that you didn't already ask me?
Yeah, or you could also like think about it as anything you want to make sure that people know about you, about Unlocking RVA.
I want to make sure people know that they can always make suggestions.
Okay.
I think that's important. I think a lot of people, there's not another Unlocking RVA. So really it's what I do, and then you have the promoters. I don't consider myself a promoter in that sense. Really I don't know what what brand I can give myself, but for me, I still look at old school promoters. You're in the club, you do certain experiences like that, weekends, different things. So it's like you don't really have the power to say, "Hey, can you do da-da-da-da," because
you're there to promote.
Yeah, you're an
event
but
planner,
I want people to feel like they can come up to me and say, "Hey, have you ever thought about nope."
Yeah.
And I'll give you a free ticket for the rest of your life. If whatever you come up with, I come up
money
and
maker.
I give you. So I always ask that question sometimes every once in a while on the Instagram.
You never used any of my ideas, but yeah.
What are your ideas? Okay, boom. So let's flip it back. Keisha, let me know
What
are
did
your
I
ideas?
say? I don't know. I sent something in your
what did you
DMs one
say?
day.
What did you say?
I might have said something about a bingo, but there's already people are doing that.
So the bingo part. So again, that comes. So while I always say that there's no issue with repeating things that you've seen in life. The line I draw is when my actual friends are the ones doing it. So bingo was already happening with Kelly and Lonnie B. And I wasn't going to touch that because that hip hop bingo was their thing. Yeah. It still is their thing, but also it's like, bingo isn't getting me. I also got to get excited about it too, because if I'm not excited, then it's not going to execute.
See, I love bingo. And I have to plug
bingo
now because I
dope.
can't even talk about bingo without mentioning No Whams. It's just hip hop bingo Thursdays at Pick and Brew. But I, suggest, I don't remember what I said. I said some stuff. I was probably drinking my 13.9 sangria.
If you got something else, you keep reaching out. Something's going to stick, and guess what?
Right.
Y'all get tickets for life. You get a ticket, and you get a ticket.
All right. So we'll end with, all right, Faith. Let's take a breath. We done had some sangria.
Drink my 13.9.
What? Yeah, take a sip of that 13.9. What I feel like entrepreneurs consider their legacy. How do you want to be remembered?
As soon as you said legacy, I'm thinking about the building that we're in right now. So I want that St. Luke's.
Legacy.
I want that St. Luke's legacy.
Yes.
I want years from now, if Unlocking ever stops or there's, it's done and run its. Remember when? Mm-hmm. And then someone attempt to recreate what I did in remnants of. So I say that because I can never take away from the fact that every time someone comes into brunch, it reminds them of Fridays at Sunset.
Oh, yeah.
And it reminds them of a time where they can come and be together, hear good music, whether that's a DJ or a live band, and just experience the city and just have a good time. And I love that's instantly what people begin to feel, because that's the vibe. That's what you want to go for. Mm-hmm. So shout out 100% to Johnson Inc., who's still around, right? But that's an event that kind of ran its course after a while, and then you find someone else kind of comes and repicks up that energy. So for me, it's that lasting memory that someone can get triggered by and begin to then create something brand new that elevates the original idea that was out there.
Wow.
I know, it was good, right? Y'all welcome. That was good.
I love her, y'all.
Appreciate you. That was
Faith, you ready to play this game?
That was for the bank president right there. Okay? That was for the bank president.
Before we get into the game, I do want to mention, like we said, March 27th?
Yes.
March 27th is the first brunch on the plaza. And also that people can set up one-on-ones with you.
They can.
For consulting when it comes to entrepreneur barriers, anything you're experiencing. She's successful, y'all. She's doing her thing out here. And she's here. She's open to help other people, which is dope.
100%. I'm say this real. Pick your brain season is over, but you could pay for it. You could pay for it 100%. I don't mind sharing whatever, but again, after a while, because y'all.
There's no more pick your brain. Let's go listen to her podcast. Episode 61, the Ground Up Podcast.
Yes.
All right, let's play this game.
Okay.
Would you rather this or that?
Okay.
Would you rather be known for your sense of style or your sense of humor?
See, that's hard because I'm not gonna do this. I won't do this with y'all. All right. I'm gonna say style, even though I know it's humor because I'm funny as hell.
Yes, you are.
But style is very important because of for other reasons, because of
it's nice to be aesthetically pleasing.
Exactly. It's nice to be aesthetically pleasing, and I feel like I represent a core group of people who
like I love your jeans.
Thank you. They get overlooked and don't think they can have style because of whatever. You see how I got deep again? I got deep. So that's why I'm gonna go with style, because that's something I think makes it, anyone can be funny. I mean, it doesn't stick all the time.
Yeah,
but.
No, I feel you. Because I look at you, I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe I could do something. This or that. Cherry Coke or Dr. Pepper?
Dr. Pepper.
Oh.
Dr. Pepper. Because, Dr. Pepper.
Okay.
Yeah, Dr. Pepper. Don't judge me.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right,
Would
you rather...
You 13.9 judging Dr. Pepper? Really? It's the same
Cherry
thing.
Coke is everything.
Okay, Dr. Pepper is the same thing.
Is it though? Would you rather be a fly on the wall during a Kim and Kanye conversation or a Will and Jada conversation? She does not look impressed, y'all.
I'm not impressed with either, but you know what? For entertainment value, because I'm a fake therapist, low key. So Kanye and Kim, because I just I just watched his little documentary and I was like,
is it out?
The first part on Netflix. Yes, it is. It is out.
We know what we're doing this weekend.
The first part is up there, and so that it's like an hour and 20, but
okay.
Again, for me, it's pre and post Donda. That to me is the change for him in terms of what we see as a public. And so seeing this early grind.
Do you still love him?
I don't know if I ever loved him to begin with. Not like that. I just feel like I'm the kind of person that I separate the artist from the art.
Right.
So in terms of musically, I was down, like I think College Backpack, I was still invested, maybe the next album, but it was something, I don't know, and I'm gonna get shot in the comments for this. 808 and Heartbreaks was probably the pivot for me. I was okay with that, but everything that came after that just didn't.
Right, no, I think most people are on board with you.
From there, it was kind of like,
I think we're not on board with you when you say you didn't love him from, with College Dropout. And
no, I did like College Dropout.
Okay.
Yeah, I was fine with earlier Kanye. I think it's that hunger,
but
which happens a lot of times with
that.
me with artists in general. Like those first albums are always, like we're never gonna get another just gotta make it. Like,
exactly.
It. Like Trey was, he was gonna make it.
I agree with you. We have to stop expecting to get what people are when they're raw and they're real in the very beginning.
And
like
hungry.
We're not gonna get that.
Yeah. So
okay, sorry guys, sorry about that.
Fly on the wall for Kim and Kanye. Yes.
All right.
That's
but I do wonder what Will and Jada would be talking about.
Nothing stupid.
All right, last one. This or that, TikTok or IG Reels?
They're the same. But IG Reels, I don't want to do TikTok. I'm so type of TikTok. Those are TikToks though.
I mean, basically. All right, Faith, how can listeners reach you?
Okay. So it's Unlocking RVA is the business the business name on everything. So Instagram, Twitter, what's the other one? Facebook. We all love a good Facebook. And then unlockingrva.com. And then she was mentioned in my wonderful personal account, which is Bet on Faith. You might look at it in all squished together. It looks like something different, but it really is Bet on Faith, because you can always Bet on Faith. That's so cheesy, but I love it.
I love it. Everything's going to be in the show notes.
Yeah.
Y'all, look, 80% of our listeners are from Richmond. Unlocking RVA events, as soon as it gets warm, come outside, do this thing, document it, tag Unlocking RVA, and we'll be back next week for another episode of the Ground Up Podcast. That 13.9% got me.
You had to pace yourself. So you got to pace yourself.
Help us build this podcast from the ground up. Please rate and review on Apple Podcasts. It helps further our reach, and your reviews mean so much to us. You can also support us by becoming a Patreon, or as we like to call it, a friend of the podcast. Find us on Instagram at The Ground Up Podcast and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to share with a friend. Until next time, we're rooting for you.